Hello, fellow makers. I'm really excited to invite you to come along on a fun journey for the next 3 months. I am really excited to have the privilege to be on the Whimsy Stamps Halloweeners design team. This is their first ever Halloween design team, and it goes for the next 3 months. So I will be making some projects with their stamps, dies, papers, and they will all be Halloween themed. So that's a lot of fun. And so I invite you to join along with me. This is going to be the first make for this assignment. And so I thought I would make a magic slider card for my first one. So I am using the Happy Halloweeds stamp set. I'm going to use this is the Shaker Maker rectangle die, and I'm going to be using the outside. And then I'm not absolutely positive yet, because you know how I do these things when I videotape them before I actually make the project. I am thinking I might use one of these paper packs, some paper from one of these. So this is the Vintage Halloween paper pack. And this is the Autumn Hues paper pack. And I thought this looked a lot like some of the papers that backgrounds, that I make with the distress inks. So I might use paper from one of these to make, for the frame. And so we'll see where we're going to go from here. I am going to be embossing on the window for the magic slider. And so for that, I got some heavy duty embossable clear acetate sheets. So you can do a Google search, or you can go to the link at the bottom of my blog to see where to get those. There are a couple different companies that make embossable acetate sheets. I like this brand that I got from Simon Says Stamp because it's nice and thick. And so it also would probably be good for maybe like shaker cards or something like that. So I have some of that. I also wanted to get some watercolor because I'm going to be coloring this in for the reveal. And so I have distressed watercolor cardstock cut and ready to go. So let's just see how this turns out. So what I've done so far, this is my stamping platform from Tim Holtz and Tonic. I have it on the clear side. If you have one of these, this is how you use it. I don't have a Misty, so this is what I have. This is the smaller travel one. So if you're using rubber stamps, you have to have the other side, and it would say rubber here. So I have it turned over. I have my stamp, my Halloweeds stamp in place. And what I did before I locked it in was that I put the frame on it, and then I put the stamp where I wanted it, and now I'm ready to go. So it is on this. I need to get some anti-static powder on there. I want to be sure that I have plenty, because I do not want any strays. I never get a good image on my first try ever. So I always need some sort of stamping platform or Misty or something like that. And then this just helps me get even pressure without having to do CPR. And this is just a wood block with felt on the bottom. And this is a vintage door handle that my dad put together for me for this. Yeah, see? Never get a good image, no matter what. I'm a mess. So for those of you who don't know me, I started out as a scrapbooker, not a card maker, and I hardly ever stamped until Tim asked me to do some of his stamping, his stamps. So I'm still kind of a newbie, I feel like, in the stamping card making realm. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and put some embossing powder on this. This is Ranger Ink Fine Detail Embossing Powder. Okay. All right, that's pretty good. I still have some hanger-oners, so I'm going to get a fine detail brush and I'm going to brush some of those that are hanging on. It kind of doesn't bother me up here too much because it looks actually a little distressed. So I may just make sure that it's not outside of the image too much before I move on. I have a piece of acetate in my stamping platform. I have a piece of watercolor paper under it just so I can see. And I have gone over it with my static tool. So let's ink up the stamp. And I'm not going to go really hard on this. Let's just see how it looks. I got to go a little harder. Okay, I'm going to call that good. And I'm going to emboss really fast. Looking pretty good. I think I have it covered. And I'm just going to brush off in a couple of areas before I emboss so that I don't get that. Actually, I think that's on the back for my fingers. So I don't have a lot of stray embossing. There we go. It is all shiny. And now I'm going to wipe off all of the powder. And when we make our card, I'll make sure that this lines up right over that so that when it slides out, it'll be magic. makers, here's the thing. I made the card and it's okay, but I went back and rewatched the Jennifer Maguire video that inspired this card, and I wasn't happy with the way this pooched out, and then this gets stuck, and it's because I didn't do this little tab right. And then I decided that when I pulled it, that see how this kind of pooches out, and you really can't, it doesn't line up well, and so you can't see the colors, and I'm not happy with this. So I decided to redo it. And so I have a new frame. I have a new watercolor piece, and I have put the layer of, I cut the watercolor cardstock, and I cut 1/4-inch strips of it. These are 3 layers of the 1/4-inch strips of watercolor cardstock, and I have made kind of a little frame, I guess, on 3 sides, a little pocket. It's going to be a pocket. So eventually then I'm going to line this up exactly on top. And then once I get it lined up on top, I will adhere it down to the little pocket. And then we'll put this on. And then I'll put the pocket in like that. And I'm happier with these colors. To make the pocket correctly, what I needed to do was I have folded a little extra. This is just a little extra piece of this paper. And I'm just going to put a little bit of Distress Collage Medium on both sides here. This doesn't need to be really tall. So, and then I will put it here. And then I just have a piece of white, thin white cardstock. And I'm going to put this on the back of it and just line it up. And that way the little tab is sandwiched in between and it doesn't get caught on the lip or on the acetate. So it will go in and out much more smoothly. And if you had one, I don't, but if you had one of the stamps that said pull, you could stamp the word pull on there, which would probably be a good thing to do. All right. So there's that. And to make sure that it was the right size, I kind of laid it in there and I measured it. And then before I put the acetate on, you can see that this will have just a little bit of reveal around. And again, this is that, this was the shaker, I believe, rectangle shakers. And let's see, shaker maker rectangle. Okay. So this is the larger one, and you can see how that'll look. And then when you pull it, there's the magic of the magic slider. And also on this one, I decided to put just the sentiment and put it down here at the bottom. Whereas on this one, I had it on both up at the top. And this one, I do not have it on the acetate. So all you see is the picture on the acetate. And it's not quite as interesting because you don't want it, you want this to be the magic. All right. So let's go ahead and put this together. And I'm going to use my 1/4-inch double-sided tape. To put this onto the paper, I used Distress Collage Medium because it dries and it is not sticky, and that way I didn't have too much sticky from the tape. All right. Now to get this lined up, I'm going to remove one side of the tape. I'm going to make sure that I don't have anything on the back side or anything in it. And then let's get it as perfectly lined up as we can before. That looks pretty good. All right. Okay. And that still looks pretty good. All right. Now I'm going to take these off. Let me do that one more time. I think I did pretty good. I'm going to take my scissors now and I'm going to trim the acetate carefully from around each side. I didn't want to trim it before because I wanted to make sure I could get it on the tape. So I didn't want it too short before I adhered it. Okay. And now I want to put the frame on. So I'm going to take my tape and I'm going to put it over this again. And before I put the frame on, I do need to trim up here as well. Otherwise it'll stick out beyond the frame. And now we are ready to attach the frame. So I'm going to take the tape off of all of the sides here. Okay, I still have it popping up a little bit here, but that's not too bad. And I just need to add it to a base, a card base. there we have our magic slider card. Whoops. Hang on. That's the good thing about wet adhesive. You can make sure, there we go, that when you push down on it, it didn't move. Okay. So there's our card. And there's our reveal. And you can see, because I have this sandwiched in between, that it's going in and out beautifully, and they can remove the whole thing. So if they want to, you know, set it up as kind of a little art piece, great. Or if they want to leave it like that, however you want to do it. And you can see that it's opening much better than this one, because this one gets stuck. It keeps getting stuck. This back part gets stuck on the card, and then sometimes this part gets stuck on the acetate in the frame. So yeah, so the other one worked much better. And this, it doesn't have as big of a bubble as this one does. I'll probably have to take it off and reattach it, pulling it across on both sides, and see if I could get that bubble to go down a little bit. This is one I could keep, and probably just make a new insert for it that won't stick. But until then, this is the one that is going to work the best. Makers, thank you so much for sticking with me through this first tutorial for the Whimsy Stamps Halloweeners design team. And as a reminder, I used for my magic slider card, for the frame, I used the largest die on the Shaker Maker rectangle, WSD 417. And I used the paper from the Autumn Hues paper pack for both the pull tab and or the pull piece and for the frame. And then for the fun image and sentiment, those are the clear Halloweeds stamp set. And this is the size of the stamp set. It's a small 4x6 stamp set. Super fun little set, and I really enjoyed making this. If I did not answer a question that you had, or if you want something clarified, please contact me through my blog at playswellwithpaper.blogspot.com, and I will be happy to try and answer any of your questions or clarify anything to the best of my ability. There is a contact section in the far right-hand column, and you can email me that way. I totally had so much fun making this little magic slider card for the Halloweeners design team, and I'm really looking forward to many more makes in the next 3 months, and I hope that you will continue to follow along. So thank you so much, makers, and I hope that you have a very crafty day.